Hi everyone, welcome back to the Web3 channel. My name is Zach. In this video, we are looking at some interesting news when it comes to analysts' perceptions and thoughts on Russia, of course, amid the current crisis that we're seeing happen right now, with Russia using potentially crypto to sidestep Western sanctions. Let's have a look at what's actually happening here. Russian financiers could turn to crypto to sidestep European sanctions. Using cryptocurrencies instead of US dollars would be a violation of sanction agreements. Let's go through what is happening here. The current sanctions targeting Russian banks, technology companies, and aerospace operators. Russia has recently vowed to regulate cryptocurrencies, which industry participants say is no coincidence. Following fresh round of sanctions aimed at isolating Russian banks from the global financial system, experts are eyeing crypto as a means to bypass the blacklist. The US and European imposed measures target Russian banks, technology companies, and aerospace operators, a wide swath of the country's economy, following an escalation of Russian President Vladimir Putin's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Leo Wald, CEO of crypto asset manager Valkyrie Investments, said it's uncertain that whether Russia would use crypto to circumvent sanctions, but the likelihood they could make a pivot is high. It's worth keeping in mind that using digital assets instead of USD is likely a violation of the sanctions, legal experts say. The primary sanctions overseen in the US, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, takes the view that its sanctions apply to activity conducted in cryptocurrency, according to Evan Abrams. They generally would view a transaction conducted in Bitcoin or another asset the same as they would view a transaction conducted in dollars. US-based crypto exchanges and wallet providers must follow the same reporting and know your customer regulations as banks, but decentralized exchanges and marketplaces in other countries may offer a workaround as long as they don't use a US regulated entity to purchase and move the crypto. I don't think that it would be difficult to avoid sanctions. Employing a number of different exchanges would also make it easier for Russian financiers to cover their tracks, according to a former World Bank analyst. Russian companies could easily use Russia-based exchanges on brokers as fiat on-ramps and then transact in crypto across multiple decentralized exchanges or other tools meant to conceal the source of funds. Then entities willing to engage with them could potentially transact without facing any real consequences. The punitive measures come shortly after Russia's finance ministry moved ahead with its cryptocurrency regulatory plan, which doubled down on the country's standing policy of banning crypto as a form of payment, a potential challenge to businesses looking to dodge sanctions. However, the Russian CBDC, the underdevelopment digital ruble, could allow companies to legally trade without the dollar in a state-sanctioned workaround. It is likely no coincidence that Russia moved recently to legalize cryptocurrencies in a bid to standardize their regulation and usage, perhaps as a proactive measure to combat any potential sanctions that would arise from an invasion of Ukraine. In October, OFAC released new guidance on crypto and sanction compliance, highlighting in the agency's eyes the increasing threat blockchain technology poses to central control points of government. Penalties for breaking OFAC sanctions without permission can result in a fine of up to 20 million USD and a prison sentence of up to 30 years. The severity, of Abrams said, depends on whether the violations are against primary or secondary US sanctions. The former requires a US citizen, of course, or resident in the mix. When it comes to sanctions where non-US citizens operate, the country's OFAC has, of course, little legal standing, and I don't think they're going to harass Putin. But what they can do is essentially impose sanctions on those actors. If one person is interacting with the sanctioned individual, the first person can be sanctioned in a similar manner. With that being said, we have also seen recent cryptocurrency regulatory news. We think, of course, that Putin has been planning this for a little while now, and so realistically, what we've been seeing regarding their regulations and stuff, I would imagine, has, of course, been in tandem with the crypto and the technology. The moves come as growing concerns over conflict between Russia and Ukraine have put pressure on risk assets. Bitcoin and Ether are down about 11% and 5% over the past weeks, and this was prior to Russia actually invading. Analysts are confident that the market can withstand the geopolitical forces at play as long as things do not escalate. It's a similar situation to the 2014 Russian invasion of the Crimean Peninsula. Once part of the Ukraine, Tom Essay, founder of Seven's Report Research, wrote in a recent note, analysts believing that Russia may be setting up a precedent to invade Donbass in eastern Ukraine and annex part of the territory. Would that be a materially bearish event? No, not unless it created an all-out war between Ukraine and Russia, which, and unfortunately, this was, of course, written prior to the past few days. That being said, of course, it will be interesting to see how this all goes through. Realistically, this is a double-edged sword with crypto and blockchain is that it's not centralized oftentimes, which means that realistically it's not necessarily going to be governed, and placing sanctions will therefore be difficult. Obviously, this doesn't completely sidestep sanctions; it makes things more difficult, but it definitely does, I would say, reduce the impact of such. With that being said, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear your take. This is the Web3 channel, covering everything happening from crypto, NFT, and metaverse news. If you want to know everything about that list, make sure to subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next Web3 video.